Okay. I just want to talk about Orbs of Power being turned into mods. I've gone over this, like, in trying to record, like, 6 or 7 times now. Each of them were, like, 20 minutes, and I want to just keep it shorter this time. Number one, I do not care that Masterwork weapons are no longer able to generate orbs. I do not use my weapons for orbs. I use them, and I Masterwork them because I either like them, because the stat bonus is valuable, or because the exotic is literally better because it's Masterworked. It has no effect on me whatsoever that they'll not be able to generate orbs. Where I find issue with the change is that their decision to put them on helmets. Helmets have very valuable mods. Not a large selection of them, but very valuable mods. Ammo finders and targeting mods, I don't even need to explain why they're valuable. But for the sake of argument, I will use just ammo finders, because you're mostly using orbs for PvE. Ammo finders can be stacked. And next season, we're speculating that probably going to be rocket launcher version of particle deconstruction. Any ammo generated from ammo finders, from rockets in particular, is broken. Because a single rocket amounts to more damage, more ad clear than any other weapon that's available here. And even if you're not using rockets, let's just say for the sake of it all, we're talking about this season. This season we have linear fusion rifles. You don't need ammo finders because linear fusion rifles carry a decent amount of ammo already. But getting 2 to 3 shots of the hardest hitting head in the game is strong. Nobody can disagree with that. There's nothing you can say to me that's like, oh, you don't need to. It doesn't matter if you need them or not. The fact is that it's incredibly powerful to have access to 2 of them. And even if you're not double stacking them, you can still have differentiating ones. Just a single grenade launcher one covers not only the special, but heavy variants of the weapons. So you can get a plethora of ammo for that particular weapon type if you like grenade launchers. And for something like, let's say, Forerunner, which is the shiny new Halo Magnum, this will keep your ammo at a sustainable level if it activates, which double stacking allows it to happen more often. Specifically for helmets, there's a lot of competition that they have to deal with, even though that the selection isn't large, because ammo finders are powerful and so are targeting mods. For other armor pieces, the argument can be made that even on gauntlets, that you could still fit one in there. My reasoning for it is that you do not need more than one anti-barrier weapon mod on your gauntlets. Because if the season artifact is done right, or not done right, but if it's good, it's going to give you access to stuff like Thermoplastic Strike, which can help you substantially with champions. And maybe it's not going to be the most valuable for certain Grandmaster Nightfalls and for certain subclasses. These mods still cover an incredibly effective, or they already take away having to deal with a slot on the gauntlets. So then you could just throw on an Orb mod. Now, I forgot to state it in the beginning. I believe it's been so many times since I've recorded these. That I find the change to Orb mods not necessarily to be that bad, except for the fact that they're making more than one. If I could just throw on a single Orb mod and it covered every single weapon in my inventory, that would be fine. It could cost 3 energy. And I could throw that on. And I'd probably throw that on over an ammo finder. But that's not how it's going to work. We're going to have to deal with multiple. Do we know how many? No. I'm just going to say for now that it's 2 minimum. So if I want to return the functionality that my weapons already had to what they were pre-patch, I'm going to have to equip 2 mods just to generate orbs over better weapon handle, like better weapon performance or higher upkeep on ammo. That is baffling. There's no good explanation that I can think of. Now, I'm a player, an armchair developer. I do not know what goes on. I do not know what they're going to do. But based on my own perspective, from what I know, from what I've been told, from what I gather, is that the change doesn't have, right now, any real logic behind it. Specifically for helmets, and to need more than one. Because on gauntlets, as I said, you could just clear, you don't even need 2 champion mods. You don't need fastball. You don't need auto loaders. But you could just throw it on here. Like if I just wanted to generate auras with my weapons, you know, I could take this off, throw it on, you know, maybe change around my elemental well mods, but then I could generate auras with every single weapon. Chest piece, same thing. Chest piece, most people don't even use reserve perks or unflinching because they don't have a substantial effect on weapons or your performance like the mods on the helmet do. Being able to carry 3 more shots of linear fusion rifle ammo isn't going to be as valuable as being able to consistently generate 3 rounds on a regular basis, or having an extra rocket, which is great for DPS, but it's not great for general use like having the ammo finder mods is. So they could easily have just thrown it here, because these you don't need at all. Valuable for certain builds? Absolutely. But even these, like damage reducing perks or mods, they're only substantially valuable in things like Grandmaster Nightfalls and raids that were under level 4. These will be great for day 1 raids, which people will absolutely be running over any of these options that are here. But after that day is gone, after you're done farming Grandmaster Nightfalls, or maybe you're not done, but maybe you get the knack for it, you could just take them off. You don't even need these. You could just throw the Orb Mod on. No problem. Boots are probably the second hardest one to argue for just allowing them to go on here, but again, the same thing applies for helmets. You have these mods that are garbage, like right here, the holster mods, nobody uses those. And then you have the scavengers. The scavengers are broken in anything you can use them in. Getting an extra round in PvP, getting more ammo in PvE. There's no downside to having these mods on whatsoever other than their cost. And because they're so pricey, you can't even double stack mods of just about anything if you want to still use, let's say, elemental wells or a cooldown or a stat booster. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that the orb mod costs 0, right? I could throw it on here and get orb generation, but it's not going here. It's not helping me. It's not doing anything for me because they're going to be on helmets, which are always going to be double filled with either ammo finders, or targeting mods. For class items, this is the absolute most difficult one to argue. You're going to be rocking the Big Daddy damage deal increasing artifact mod that they're going to be probably releasing next season. Will it be particle deconstruction and cost 7? Maybe, who knows? Like low. But let's just assume it is, right? You throw this mod on. Alright. You can still only have one orb mod. You can't have both. You're literally stuck having to pick which weapons that you want to generate orbs, rather than just making it so that you throw on the mod and all of them do it. As if it's just mimicking that everyone's masterworking their weapons anyways. Then we go to ghosts. Ghosts is the easiest one to argue. Because look at this shit. Experience. Alright, everyone has that on. Nobody takes that off no matter what. Boom, I can get rid of this. Orb Mod could cost 5. I could throw it on. Have all my weapons to generate orbs. Even then, if it's not 5. Even then, if it's multiple mods, I can still throw on 2. Because I don't use a majority of the rest of these mods. I just have this on, because it's nice to, like, if I'm going around planets, to find materials. Do I need the caches and resources? No. But it's nice to have on. Because a lot of like quests and bounties and crap have you going around doing patrols. Or have areas where you want to go to patrols, and you might as well just pick up materials while you're there. But do I want Glimmer Booster? No. Do I need telemetry? Those are going away. Do I want armor focusing? This is only useful if you're farming content that's going to drop 60 plus statted gear. Which is something that you can only get on a limited basis. Such as farming dungeons. I guess the bug for them being unfarmable is gone. But still, even then, there's no guarantee that there's 60 stat. You get them from raids. You can only do that once a week per character. What else is there to do? That drops 60. You can get them to drop from powerful engrams. You can get them to drop from pinnacle gear. Okay. For the most part, you can manipulate when you need this. You don't need it on at all times. At all. And in the final slot, getting orbs, or getting cores, getting any of this stuff, if you're on top of the game, these are also not necessarily mandatory, but they're useful. Right? I could throw on, I don't know, upgrade modules, because I'm always running out of upgrade modules. But this is still something that I could just throw on when I go into the activity. It's not something I can just leave on passively like I could the Orb Mod. Because being able to generate orbs anywhere is common. Like, that's why all these people masterwork their weapons, because you can just easily generate orbs as long as they're masterworked. Now you might be wondering, oh, well, why is this guy getting so irritated over a change if he doesn't actually care for the effect itself? And it's because the change itself just doesn't make any sense. When you read the TWAB, it reads as, this was done, that it's a tall order to have to expend masterwork materials just to generate orbs. Now, I don't know about that. Because, well, for number one, we don't know how much it's going to cost, so we don't have that information. So that comment means absolutely nothing to us. At all. It could cost, let's just say, for the sake of argument, 20 enhancement cores. These are so easy to get. And I don't even farm them. I don't target them at all. I don't do nightfalls on a harder difficulties 9 out of 10 times. But I'm still sitting on hundreds. I got 47 enhancement prisms. I got 8 ascendant shards. I'm sitting on a good wealth of enhancement materials. Masterwork materials. So it's not a tall order to consume masterwork materials to generate orbs. And nobody, except for people that hardly play the game, can argue that. And if the crafting system is going to be that expensive, then that's going to be the main issue that people are going to be having. Because masterworking already doesn't do a whole lot that matters. Because exotics, they don't take masterwork materials. Legendaries, you don't even need to masterwork them because it's just a stat bonus, and at 5 you get the tracker anyways. So what's that argument? What are we gaining out of the change that they're making in the way that they're doing it? Practically nothing. Except for making it so that we have to sacrifice perks or mods in our builds that are already limited because most mods cost a lot and don't give you a whole lot of energy to work with, for the same power we already had. Now, the other argument that can be made with regards to the change is that we know that they're planning on differentiating weapons based off of what they themselves said, and from a podcast that was from a year ago, it is we were informed that weapons are running out of memory, which means there's only so many perks and slots that they can give each weapon at a time. If getting rid of masterwork orbs on weapons allows them to do what they want to do and overall improves the weapon system, then that is absolutely perfect. That is exactly what I want. But that does not change that they went the most foolish route with handling where we're going to put them on top of how many of the mods are going to exist. Because we're already so powerful with these mods. We're not going to be even more powerful if one mod covers every weapon. It's just giving us back what a majority of people have been already able to do for so long. And I don't get that. And I don't want to act like I know what's going to happen, because I don't. I don't know what changes they're going to be making. They could be good, they could be bad. But I'm just saying right now, we're not informed enough to both make a conclusive argument on why it's good and why it's bad. But even less so in the department for why it is good. Because simple, easy, and non-intrusive changes could have been made to allow our weapons to generate orbs. Allow every single armor piece we have to have access to the orb mods. Or just throw them on the ghost. Or any of the armor pieces besides helmet. And we would be fine. For the most part. But they still chose helmets. And we don't know why. We're going to get a twab later on for mods that's going to explain their reasoning, hopefully. Because they're going to be covering mods, which I'm looking forward to. But until then, we don't have anything conclusive that's going to make this change seem good. Thank you for listening,